Hi guys, how you doing? We try again. Bitcoin daily, 9 a.m. repeat. I'm on the dollar. We try. Sometimes Monday to Friday. However, we tried having on the dollar at 9 today, Bitcoin daily. Unfortunately, my internet went down like 2 minutes in. And, Anecdotal Smith asked a very good question. Why go live 20 minutes before the show? Always meant to ask this. And you're very correct. Why go live? Like, why wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and then go live? Because the one time I actually go live and, start the show immediately, my internet goes down. So we have to wait, 10 minutes for good fortune to stabilize the internet and then go live. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. So we're gonna try to talk a little bit more about what I want to talk about earlier this morning, and there is a reason for that. I got my new coffee again, and we're gonna see that. But what's up, the beauty? How you doing, man? But Anecdotal Smith, it is a good question. Why wait 10-20 minutes before starting the live show? And if you notice, like all the channels that do live shows, they have some kind of intro for 5 or 10-20 minutes or something like that, because usually people get up, like they wait 5-10. If you just start the live show without any intro, then people don't have time to get up, right? So they miss all entire start. So every single live show got some kind of intro for 10 minutes. That's just the standard. You need to wait for people to click the video, wait, and stop by and stuff like that, right? So that's the biggest reason. Because if I just start on the 9 a.m. on the dollar, everybody misses the intro, and intro is the best part. So Bitcoin is up 1.7%. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. It looks nice. Capo did. I just saw a nice thing from Capo. We're gonna check that out in a second. And we're gonna start talking about the very same thing we started talking this earlier this morning, but my internet went down. So we start talking about this over here, and I was watching both yesterday and mostly today some charts, and I realized that I was like, okay, which coin did perform well in the previous bull market? And, is there anything significant about them? Especially these old coins that have been, around since 2017 bull market as well. So what you're going to notice, if your coin bottom this bear market is 10 times higher than the bottom of the 2018-19 mark. So if in 2018-19 your coin is at $1, and right now at the bottom it's at $10, that's like 10x move from the bottom to bottom, from the bottom of the bear market to the bottom of the bull market. That coin is actually a good coin. It can actually perform very, very well. And you will see this with a lot of coins, right? You will see with coins that are actually performing very well, that did perform very well, and the bottom keeps rising by 10x. I don't know what this about this 10x, but I've seen a couple of coins. I'm gonna say I've seen anecdotal evidence of a couple of coins where 10x seems to be the mark. And if that is the case, you just take any kind of coin that you have right now. Check how it did previous bear market. Check if that coin is an old coin, and if it's up like 10x on the bottom right now from the previous bear market. And if there's a very good chance that your coin just might perform very, very nicely in this bull market as well. So that's the first thing I want to show. The second thing I actually just saw on the X, and I'm gonna find it over here. Give me just a second. It's from Capo. Capo actually posted something very interesting, guys. Believe it or not, Capo actually posted something very, very interesting. Couldn't paste that. Let me do that again. Copy image up here. Paste that. Cannot post image. Way too large. Image is way too large. What the F, man? Let me post it in the up here in Telegram chat first. Maybe it's gonna get there we go, over here. So Capo actually posted something very, very nice. Now he's of course very bearish again, because he's showing the bearish charts. And I am a sucker for emotional kicks when it comes to watching people and stuff like that. But Capo actually posted a very nice chart, and the reason it's actually a nice chart is because this is Wyckoff distribution schematic. So he's actually trying to figure some kind of patterns for something and trying to figure out whether this is a good or bad thing, blah blah blah, whatnot, right? He's trying to find something that's gonna tell him that we're gonna drop down to 10k again or 5k. I don't know what kind of level he's looking at again, but It is a nice chart. So this is Wyckoff schematic. Now he is wrong, you know, on a lot of levels over here. What you're gonna see on this Wyckoff schematic, he shows the channel into the range, and then out of the, you know, it breaks down the minor sign of weakness up here, and then pulls back down towards the downside. And I do definitely see if you do break down below 38k levels on the downside, this might actually be a big dump towards the downside. I do not believe that, you know, main support is at 31k. You know, it should be around the 34, 35k up here somewhere, or 30, even 37 up here towards the upside, but it is in some kind of range. So if you do fall back below 38k again, I definitely can see this happening. That said, this actually, you know, totally wrong type of, you know, it's not totally wrong, but it does look like a, you know, it's different type of chart. Now over here you'll see that we had, you know, we had a move in a channel towards the resistance level and then broke that. Over here it was a fast move, you know, climbing move all the way towards stop, then pull to the support, and this first move came all the way towards the top, which this move came all the way to top, which this move did not do that, right? Did not do that. This part over here in the middle over here, this first part before the pullback towards downside, does look the same, and this right now moved, you know, up thrust after the distribution up here towards top, and then, you know, move towards downside. Can that happen? It can, but it's gonna just take way too long time. You're gonna see why it's gonna take too long time to actually play out. So if you do go towards upside, I do not expect again, you know, break below 38k down here on the downside. This 38k. So I do not, you know, if you go up here, you know, towards the upside, I do not expect the breakdown. But I don't, you know, but this can also be some kind of expanding musical instrument at the top, right? And expanding musical instruments oftentimes can actually break towards the downside, and this could be distribution pattern. Now the problem with this kind of, you know, this kind of patterns, let me go to another chart over here. Let me go to the third chart over here that's actually clean. Let me go to the fourth chart. Do I have any kind of chart without any lines? No, I don't have any Bitcoin chart without lines. We're just going to use this one. So he's talking about this one, right? And this looks like, you know, you might say that this expanding musical instrument up here at the top. Now, expanding musical instrument can be both bullish and bearish. This is actually the beauty of the expanding musical instruments. If you have some kind of explosive move towards upside, some kind of big move towards upside, and then you have some kind of, you know, rising wedge, this is very, very likely to break towards downside, especially after, you know, this initial move towards the upside. On the other hand, in a bullish market, this of course, I've been telling you guys a lot of times that this actually breaks towards upside over here in the bullish market. We've seen this over here when everybody was talking about, you know, this channel that was, you know, slowly. Sorry, I don't know what I'm clicking up here. Sorry about that, guys. I was talking about, you know, this explosive move up here, and we had this, you know, channel towards upside. Everybody was talking that this is gonna break towards downside, and I said no, it's not. It's gonna break towards upside. Why? Because even though it is, you know, extortion pattern towards upside over here, it does look like it's picking up the speed over here towards the end or right now, and we still haven't had that, you know, that FOMO move that we need. And you know, the FOMO move eventually came up here, and we started doing this over here. But the important part up here is that, you know, just because you have the, you know, the kind of bearish patterns that everybody's seeing, and then everybody thinking it's gonna play out, it does not have to play out that way, right? So bearish patterns in the bull market do not play out the way actually people tend to believe they play out. This over here would have been a bearish, and it is still might be a bearish pattern, and that's why you see also the same kind of, you know, level down here on the Kapos chart. If you look at the Kapos chart, the same kind of level down here on the bottom side, that's the level down here when we wicked on the downside. The same kind of level down here, if you go, in fact, do go back to that level and you break that level towards us, you definitely can see how this can actually dump, right? I mean, there is no way you can actually not see this, the dumping, right? You're breaking major structure, you're breaking, you know, this expanding musical instrument towards downside. This is gonna dump. It's gonna be big hard dump. Now, what do we know about big hard dumps in the bear market? When everything is bearish, you are in a downtrend, you know, these big bear, you know, big bear dumps continue dumping towards downside. In the bull market, on the other hand, these big bear dumps are actually capitulation events on the, you know, on the accumulation or distribution or whatever part over here. These are actually capitulation dumps. They often consolidate and go right back inside again, or they go, you know, just weak, you know, inside that to pick up liquidity and then continue towards us, continue again towards upside. upside. Like over here, you'll see that that wick right now that we just had, we had a, you know, over here consolidation, tried to move higher up here, broke down. We broke down below the support levels because here it was a magnificent support level that everybody was watching at 40k. We just broke that, just bare, like we didn't even stay there for more than, you know, a couple of days, and right back up above that support level immediately towards upside. Why did we go down here? To pick up this liquidity down here. So the liquidity was picked up to 38k level right now, and like Capo said, if we do in fact go back below, you know, 39k level, we might see a bbigger move towards downside. But, you know, will we get all the way down to 30k levels towards downside over here? Will it be, you know, 30 bottom on this channel up here at 34k levels over here? You know, I don't know, but you know, as long as we are not breaking the trend just yet, I think it's all fine. I think it's all fine, and then there is actually no problem with the chart, the way I see it right now, especially after this, you know, liquidity grab over here that we just had. We don't actually have to break towards downside. Let's go a little bit higher time frame. I'm going to show you something else. If you go to the weekly time frame over here and pop some moving averages on the chart, we just see how this nice actually plays out. So this is actually quite bearish move over here, what you're gonna see right now. So you see up here we had an impulsive move towards the upside, we had a consolidation up here into the 10 moving average, and then we did this big bad fat move towards downside over here. This big bad fat move towards downside over here is actually a very bad move. Now the reason actually it's very bad move, because there was a trend over here that goes when something like this, we broke that, and right now we're just kind of hugging the resistance line and hugging the 10 moving average. This would be considered a very bearish thing. Now, you never wanna do something like this over here, and then, you know, see some kind of moving average, then you break down, and then you kind of start hugging this 10 moving average, because this thing very often breaks towards downside. I'm gonna show you an example, because I was just actually watching this pattern unfold on ApeCoin on a 1 hourly time frame not so long ago. So up here, ApeCoin was actually pumped from, you know, 1.4 something like that all the way to 1.5, where I had a, you know, extreme FOMO up here. But I was looking this pattern up here. You can see up here exploding big fast towards upside, hitting this 10 moving average, and then it kind of hugs this 10 moving average sideways. This is often very bearish pattern, right? This is a hug, extend, smack, hug, dump pattern that we talked about before. You can see it breaks down, breaks below the support level, and just dumps towards the downside. This is a very common thing to happen. And what's happening right now on Bitcoin is the exact same thing on the big time frames, of course, on the weekly. So this can actually take a while to play out. The important thing to notice is that, you know, in bearish, so in Capo's chart, we should see another final pump. Yeah, exactly. In Capo's chart, you should see a final pump, because theory of the Capo right now is just before the, I can actually find that. It is funny as, you know, let me just be finished with this, I'm gonna find it. It is funny as you know what. So over here, it is the same kind of stuff up here. You extend, you kind of go down, you kind of zigzag up here. This actually went towards the upside over here, then pulled back below the support level. Right now it's hugging this 10 moving average, so technically it should go back down over here, then break down over here and whatever, right? Unfortunately, I don't think this is the case up here, because it just takes so long time to actually play this out. You can see this this part over here, you know, took almost a month, so you got a 1 month, 2 months. I mean, technically we have time. Technically, we have time for a pullback up here, consolidation, and then again towards the upside. But like, we already had the liquidity picked up. When it comes to talk about liquidity, like where would big money go to grab the liquidity up here? This was very natural level to pick up. The next natural level is below, you know, when it comes to liquidity, is below these levels over here. That's below, you know, 34 to 31k level on the downside. So are we gonna dump another right now, you know, another 26% towards downside? That would mean that Bitcoin is gonna dump, you know, 35% from the, you know, top over here at 49k all the way down to, you know, to these levels to pick up liquidity. Liquidity doesn't always get picked up. We know that by, but history. This liquidity over here got never picked up down here. You know, this liquidity never got picked up. This whatever up here, you know, this liquidity over here, sorry, I was supposed to draw these. So there was liquidity over here, whatever, for whatever reason, right? And then there is this liquidity over here. This, why am I using the wrong thing? This liquidity over here got never picked up. So this, you know, this move over here create a whole bunch of liquidity down here, that never got picked up, and probably it's never gonna pick up. Now you might be dreaming that, yeah, we're gonna go down, you know, pick up, you know, this liquidity and that liquidity and that liquidity. There is always some kind of liquidity below you. Does not mean that you are always gonna pick up that liquidity. Now we did, you know, pick up the closest liquidity that we could get, and that is this box over here. And right now the big question is, if you know, we are gonna go down, that means that, you know, there is nothing to be picked up here. There is a whole bunch of trading here, so you gotta go down to 34k level. Not only that, you gotta go all the way down to 31k level to pick up liquidity, right? Because this over here is not liquidity. Liquidity is created in these, you know, empty spaces where the price just, you know, kind of, you know, zooms, you know, through very, very fast. So over here there's liquidity, over here there's liquidity. So the big question up here, because over here it kind of was just zigzagging towards the upside. So I think if we are going to get any kind of liquidity grab, for whatever reason, it's going to be below you know, 34 to 31k towards the downside. I do not see this happening, guys. Believe it or not, I do not see this happening. I'm a little bit too bullish to believe that. And over here we just zigzagging. So if you're gonna go down, you know, if it's gonna play out, you know, some kind of expanding musical instrument up here, we gotta go back down to the support level over here and then bounce towards the upside. On the other hand, if this is some kind of expanding musical instrument and we go all the way towards the stop up here, like you saw on the capo chart over here, if this is some kind of musical instrument and we go all the way towards the stop over here, like this over here, towards the upside, I do not believe that, you know, it's gonna again go towards the downside. This usually doesn't happen. So right now we are at a kind of crossroad where we're gonna figure out what's gonna happen next. If we do go towards upside up here, towards these levels up here again, I can definitely see a pullback towards downside, not all the way down here. So it's not gonna be 36k, 38k or anything like that. It's gonna be a pullback, you know, over here, consolidation up here towards the line, and then break on towards the upside. Because this is the one way these expanding musical instruments can actually play out. You go to the resistance level, you consolidate, and you break that towards the upside. On the other hand, you go do something like this, you go to the bottom up here, you consolidate over here on the downside, and then you break towards downside. So if you're gonna break towards downside, I would see the, you know, I would want to see this move over here towards downside over here. So if it's gonna break towards downside, it's gonna have to go very, very soon towards downside. There is no move towards upside up here and then move towards downside. This only can happen in some kind of bearish markets. We are not in bearish markets. We are not in bearish markets. So I don't think we're gonna see, you know, 47, 48k and then have a move down to 30k. Just not gonna happen. Not, you know, if you look at the charts and how this is actually playing out, this is not how it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is we're gonna go down over here, consolidate, you know, not consolidate, but, you know, we're gonna go down to a level up here, and then you break the support level, and then you drop down and have this capitulation move down here before you come right back up here again, right? But if you do go up towards upside, like we just saw on the capo chart, there is no way this is gonna again go back down to 36k. There is just no way. There is just no way. So right now I'm actually looking for this move towards upside up here, and yeah, even though this is actually a bearish pattern, like I just showed you, we have to always remember that bearish patterns in the bullish markets, they do not play out, guys. They do not play out, and this, you know, messes with a lot of people, right? A lot of people think that, you know, bearish patterns are gonna play towards the downside, and they might. I'm not saying that this is not gonna play out, or we are not gonna go towards the lower up here, especially if it starts breaking right now. I might be wrong, but we are looking at this, you know, expanding whatever a musical instrument up here. So if you see the price coming back down to 38k levels again, I mean there is a hope. There is hope. It might be, you know, some kind of double bottom over here. Let's go to the daily time frame, right? It might be some kind of double bottom down here at the bottom. Where is it? Some kind of double bottom over here, right? And then again towards the upside up here. It might actually break towards the downside over here. It might pull back. We still haven't seen, you know, consolidation up here, you know, holding these moving averages. Especially this, after this move towards upside up here, what's getting me, you know, a little bit worried that this is not going to go all the way towards top is this, you know, consolidation up here that just kind of takes a little bit too long time. It might be looking like some kind of, you know, some kind of bull flag or whatever. Right, some kind of bull flag. You have a impulsive move up, and then you have some this bull flag consolidation up here, and then, you know, this breaks eventually towards upside and it pumps towards upside. But it kind of uses a little bit too long time on these moving averages over here. A little bit too long time on these moving averages. So I am still waiting to see how this is gonna play out. And oftentimes when you are in consolidation parts of the of the chart, you know, it's oftentimes to, you know, clearly see where the trend is going, especially when these consolidation parts comes in some kind of bigger consolidation periods, right? And then you are like, you know, you are in consolidation inside a consolidation, and it's kind of hard to figure out, you know, what's going to happen next, because it's not a clear trend. Clear trends are very easy, because clear trends, you already know where it's trending and you already know what's going to happen, and then you can already start seeing weakness. But the problem with consolidation trends, like over here, like these big on the downside over here, problem with consolidation trends is that all indicators are getting reset. Like indicators are no help. Everything is like at 50 levels, there are the 0 levels, everything pulled back, it just, you know, zigzagging a little bit towards upside, a little bit towards downside. When you have a trend and stuff is pumping, you can definitely see weakness in the price, you can see patterns, you know, playing out, you can see overextensions, you can see a whole bunch of stuff that can tell you that, okay, maybe, just maybe, you know, it's coming to some kind of end, you know. But when stuff is consolidating, it's really hard to analyze the chart, because you have absolutely no clue how long consolidation is going to take, because it just kind of goes sideways. And you know, any kind of pump is so insignificant when it comes to indicators that it can actually doesn't help you that much, right? So the way I'm seeing right now on the charts, it's they're not very helpful. Also, this actually can be actually removed. So over here, this last consolidation part up here is not actually very helpful. Not very well, but we are still waiting. Now, I am following the weekly time frame up here, and I'm still gonna say that there is very good probability for this move down to maybe 20 moving average up here again to 38k level. I do not see why we should go down to, you know, below the 40k level down here into the next liquidity area up here, because this liquidity area up here got picked up. So I definitely can see, you know, some second time, some weak down towards that liquidity area. But this liquidity area down here, you know, below 34k level, it is quite high, you know, way down. And again, my theory is that, you know, people want to buy the 34k Bitcoin, guys. People really like, people want to buy any kind of Bitcoin below 40k right now. They don't care. They see Bitcoin dipping below 40k, they buy, because right now you are at 43k, so they want to buy anything, right? Now, there are two lines, major lines on the weekly time frame up here. This one and this one up here, and you can see immediately right now that these two lines are significant in a way that we actually measure the resistance and support level. So this bottom down here at 41.5, this is a major support level for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. So any kind of break towards downside might actually be very bearish, especially if the next week after that fails to get back above 41.5 level, right? So 2 weeks below these kind of levels, this is actually very bearish. On the other hand, any kind of move above 43.9 or 44k level towards upside up here is actually strongly bullish, especially if you don't pull back the next week up here and actually manage to hold it towards above the 44k. This is actually extremely bullish. So it is a little bit, again, too early to say what's going to happen next. I definitely see some kind of bearish pattern up here for me up here, that this might actually dump towards downside, but I do not see, you know, the reason actually to do that. I don't see the reason to do that. I don't know why we should go down here so you can buy in cheap Bitcoin, because everybody wants to buy cheap Bitcoin, right? So the more likely scenario is that this is just gonna, you know, hug this moving average, start bouncing on this moving average, and just continue towards upside up here, right? Consolidate and just pump all the way to the moon, boys, all the way to the moon. Vanalesva, legend, how you doing, man? What's up? Now back to Capo. Capo has actually, you know, he hasn't been posting a lot lately, but he was one of the guys. My internet is still fine, right? My internet is not down or anything like that, right? Good. Okay, he was posting some other interesting scenarios up here. Let me just see up here. There is the first one. Can copy image up here is too large. No, the image is too large. I need to post in Telegram. I'm gonna remove this from Telegram, but you know, I'm just gonna post up here first, because if I do it like this, you know, image gets squeezed a little bit up here. So this is one of the first charts from Capo, and as you can see up here on the very first move up here, no, this is others. This is crypto market cap. Let me find Bitcoin chart. Where is this Bitcoin chart? BTC plan 16 January. There we go. This is the plan. Let me copy this image up here. Let me post it up there. Send, copy image up here. There we go. As you can see up here, this was the plan of Capo all along, guys. This was a Capo plan all along. As soon as we dumped down and everybody thought bearish, he was like, no, we bullish, we're going to 50k, and then we're going down, right? So this was his plan. This was his plan all along, and I became stupidly bullish after this bottom up here. Once he start writing something like this, you become bullish, right? It's gonna go towards the upside. But I thought actually this move was actually a little bit earlier than that. Now here it is. Sorry. So before this chart, there was another chart where we became super bearish. Copy me. So before this chart over here, there was another chart that he posted. So he posted this. So he posted this chart over here, and what you're gonna see up here is as soon as we start consolidating up here at top, he thought that, you know, we're gonna go into the 50k levels up here, and then push towards downside. That was let me go to the daily time frame over here. I think he was looking at 4 hourly up here, right up here, right? So you see this move, this zigzag move up here at the top. That's the zigzag move at top right before the move down, and just before that move, you can see up here, zigzag top up here, it went a little bit higher up here. He thought we were going to go to 50k and then move towards the downside. But as soon as I actually saw this chart over here, that we are going toward, I was like, nah, you know what? We are bearish. We're going to go towards the downside, right? This was actually up here. So we went up a little bit up here towards the upside, but not all the way towards top. Not all the way towards top. Basically, the moral of the story is, if Capo is bearish, we bullish. If Capo is bullish, we bearish. That is the moral of the story. That's the moral of the story. Now, there is another thing I want to talk about. But for this, we have to go to look at the charts. We have to look at the charts, old charts, long story, you know, old charts. And look at the previous bear market. Now, the previous bear market was a little bit different because of the Corona dump. Unfortunately, it's still the same. Before the Corona, everything is the same. We had this is chart of Cardano, right? It came into down here, capitulation, went kind of sideways up here, consolidated. There is a trend line over here. There is a trend line up here, give or take. Maybe it's, you know, maybe it's down here, like something like this up here, right? There's a trend line up here, creating this, you know, pivot points up here. You can see these pivot points over here as well. As soon as that broken, you have this big move towards the upside, and then you have consolidation, right? But this consolidation, this move down over here, this is Corona dump, so this messed up actually every single chart. Now, my theory was before, and this was before in March 2020. Just before March 2020, my theory was that, you know, once Bitcoin started going up here, it's just going to continue going towards upside. Unfortunately, it did not do that. It dumped towards downside because of the Corona. So if you look at a Bitcoin chart over here, what you're going to see up here is that Bitcoin started going towards the downside over here, consolidating, right? Had this big first initial move like Bitcoin always does. Had this consolidation, it broke towards downside. I was thinking it might pull back, but you know, this was supposed to go something like this over here. This pullback after this breakout was not actually supposed to dip towards downside over here. It dipped towards downside all the way down because of the Corona, but it was not supposed to do that, right? It was just supposed to, you know, if there was no Corona, this was just break the trend, consolidate, continue towards upside. At least that was my theory back then. You know, I remember this very, very well. I also remember what happened here and what happened here, but we're not going to talk about this. But this move towards upside, I was thinking that it's just going to consolidate, and this was my theory back then, and it's still my theory. And if you look at Cardano over here right now, this is usually what happens, right? You break the trend, you pull back, and then you consolidate and go towards upside. And this was actually not meant to actually break all the way towards downside over here. This was just meant to pull back a little bit and then, you know, continue towards upside. This was already moved towards upside. So as soon as altcoins get out of the accumulation zone, do this move up here, they pull back, and that's pretty much over, right? So if you look at some coins right now, Doesn't matter what kind of coins you look at. Maybe it does matter a little bit on what coins you look at, but you know, mostly coins, you know, that actually broke the trend are actually out of that. So this, for example, up here, you see that right now that altcoins have broken this trend. I mean, there is literally no there is literally no discussion about whether the trend is broken or not. Everything literally broke the trend, right? That's why we had these, you know, 2, 3, 4 axes on literally every single coin move towards the upside, right? And what's happening right now is we are having this pullback. So unless Corona dumps, this move down here, I do not think it's gonna happen, right? This is axis, but you know, it goes for every single coin. I don't think this move down here is gonna happen. Might pull back a little bit more, might even go towards downside, but I think it is very, very unlikely you're gonna get Corona style dump on coins again. So the scenario that I'm having right now when it comes to altcoins is that this move already happened. The pullback is already down like 30, 40, 50%, some coins even 60% towards the downside. This is a 40%, you know, pullback towards the downside after breaking the trend over here. Right now it's creating a secondary trend over here, right? So it is already pulling back towards the downside over here. But I don't believe, you know, we're gonna go all the way to the bottom again. I mean, unless some kind of Corona, Third World War, something magnificent happens, you know, I don't know. You know, unless, you know, something significant in the world happens, I don't see this move towards downside happening on altcoins. Unfortunately, I don't. And if Bitcoin, you know, the way this move can actually happen is if Bitcoin drops down to 34 or 30k levels, like we just saw. If it drops down below 38k level towards downside, right, and that does that, you know, 34 to 30k drop on the downside, then I could see, you know, you know, altcoins going down again another 20%. What's this right now? You know, another 50% towards downside. Unfortunately, I don't see that. You know, my theory is right now, the way my theory was back in on Bitcoin, there was, you know, breaking the trend, pullback, consolidation, and then move towards the upside, outside of the bigger. So right now we started this curvature over here, right? We curve, and, you know, break that towards upside and pump, right? So, and the way I see it again, altcoins down 30-40%. That's a good, you know, a good bottom. Are we gonna see some kind of low? Because I do actually have more money to buy, so it would be nice to see some kind of, you know, lower levels on altcoins. Unfortunately, I don't see that. Unfortunately, I don't see that. If it does happen, very good, very nice. I won't be complaining. But you know, will altcoins dump again? Another, you know, 20, 30, 40% again over here towards downside. Get back inside these, you know, bottom levels down here that we've been, you know, since December 2022, like entire year plus, you know, right now you had a chance down here at the bottom, but for some reason, yeah, we're gonna dump again towards downside over here. I don't see that. Maybe a little bit more towards downside over here or something like that, but it is in the ballpark area. I think it is in ballpark because everything is broken the trend right now, and right now it's looking for this, you know, it had this in a enormous pump, and right now it's looking for this consolidation up here before the next move toward upside. And you can check this on other coins. Let me just try to find some old coins. I think Ethereum Classic is one of these old coins, but you know, we need to find a nice chart up here. This Ethereum Classic up here, and this over here is the Corona dump. You can see up here as well, there is some kind of, you know, some kind of line up here. There goes something like this up here. July 2018 line goes something like this up here. It broke the trend. It is actually went all the way back down because of the Corona, back down to these bottom levels again. But you'll see the coins that are doing this move up here, consolidate up here in some part up here, and then continue going towards upside. But this Corona is, you know, messing up with a lot of stuff. Let me try to find a bigger chart. I think this is on Polynex. Maybe we can find 2016 bear market on some coins. Qcoin, no, BTC USDT. Where is Polynex? Polynate. USD, Polynex. There you go. Maybe you can see this up here. This is November 2016. Let me see up here. I don't know, is there a bigger chart up here? Once you break, you know, you pull back, but you don't go back down to the bottom, right? You pull back, you don't go back down to the bottom. You go toward outside. Now, this is a bad example. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, guys. We pull back, and pullbacks are nice, but, you know, the big question is right now, you can see up here, this was a big move, right? And it broke towards upside up here, consolidated right now, pulling again towards upside. There's nothing on this chart, for example, that says right now, for whatever reason, we're gonna go back to these, you know, bottom levels again. We already had a pullback up here, consolidation. Right now, you can see up here, retest up here. Right now, this is getting ready for the next move towards upside. I'm strongly bullish. I don't believe in very, very low levels. I am having what I call the bottom FOMO tendencies, which means that we are at the bottom, but I want, you know, to buy cheaper price. So I'm having the FOMO to buy the bottom, but you know, I don't know if it's going up, it's going a little bit lower or not. So I gotta wait and see. Bitcoin, after being up 2% today, it's pulling eventually back again right now over here. And there are no higher highs up here on the chart. On this part over here, this high, low, and this is the same low, I think. The same low up here. So it does something like this up here. And you can see up here, we just pumped a little bit, but it's still consolidation up here. I mean, the trend is up here, still not broken. It's just consolidating. So it needs a little bit time to get out of this trend over here, short-term trend. And like you said, like these consolidation periods up here are very, very, you know, tricky to figure out because, you know, all indicators are resetted. Everything is reset. So it is just waiting for something. Maybe it's going to be some kind of news event. Maybe it's going to be some kind of, you know, some kind of date on the moon, and then it pumps or dumps. So we're gonna see that. But I remember, guys, remember, there is, before we go, there is one thing you have to remember. That is not the moons. That is not the moons. That is the halving process. Halving events. Let's go up here. That is the halving events. This is the last thing you gotta remember before we go. Just gonna remove all the lines. The next halving event, guys, the next halving event, let's put this on a logarithmic chart. Where halving, let's go to 3-day chart, something like this. Guys, this is gonna happen. I think I said 17 April, but right now it is on 18 or 19 April, something like that. There is not a lot of time left, guys. There is definitely not a lot of time left. Halving is coming very, very close. You can see up here, after halving, we just pumped over here. There was slight dump over here after a halving in 2016. Only happened once before, slight dump just before the halving. But even this dump over here is dumped up here, and it just kind of kept this. Let me just remove the hide this. You can see down here, even this dump up here, you know, because it exploded so much, right? So it dumped down here, but it did not dump that much. I mean, technically it was a big dump over here, especially this up here. But this was like, you know, big dump, you know, with a week was 26%, but this was, you know, 14% move down. And this was back in 2016 where everything was, you know, stupidly volatile. So this move towards downside up here is definitely nothing, right? Definitely nothing. And you can see up here, even after, you know, halving up here, it just kept going towards upside, guys. It just kept going. We have no reason to believe that after halving, we shall not just, you know, continue pumping towards upside. First halving, we just over here, just continued pumping. You know, second halving, continued pumping. Third halving up here, just continued pumping up here. There was just consolidation over here and just continue pumping up here, right? After halving, it's game over. So if it's gonna dump, it's gonna have to dump over here right now. Have to dump over here right now before we go towards upside. But I do not know why we should go do that, because everybody wants to buy. Everybody wants to buy. Remember, guys, halving is 2 months. After that, it's up only. And the way I see when it comes to altcoins is, you know, 30-40%, you know, pullback after the 3-4x that everything did. I think it's, you know, very nice entry points for a lot of altcoins. I might be wrong, I might be not. We're gonna see that. I think there was one more thing I wanted to talk about that I thought about. But yeah, it does matter. There is a video on my channel called Dead Coins. If you have not checked that out, check it out. It's an interesting theory. So, you know, there's that. Guys, thank you for stopping by. The Beauty and Anecdotal Smith and Vanessa. Hope you have a nice day. I'm out. I'm gonna go and do stuff. I want also to make a video about Neo, but you know, I'm not quite there just yet. I'm not quite there just yet. But there might be or might not be a video about Neo. Bye bye, guys. Where's my outro?